So in today's class, we are going to discuss about chance and assignable causes of quality variation. Chance causes, also known as common causes, are an inherent part of the process. That means you cannot avoid occurrence of these causes. You cannot avoid. Okay, so it is out of your control or out of the control of quality engineers. So those are called as chance causes. Even after continuous effort, even after taking precautions, we are able to avoid these type of causes which lead to variation, which lead to variation in quality of a product. Okay, so this is not in the control of engineers, quality engineers. A process that is operating with only chance causes of variation is said to be in statistical control. Okay, so we accept that, so we cannot avoid chance causes, and even if the process is operating with chance causes, so that is considered as process is in statistical control. Okay, there will be tolerance limits. Okay, so if there are chance causes, we can get the products within the tolerance limit. Okay, so within the acceptable range for any quality parameter. Whereas, so there is one more type of causes that is called as assignable causes. So the quality engineers need to concentrate on assignable causes and they should avoid occurrence of these assignable causes. In order to prevent assignable causes, first thing is uh, people who are working on this quality, okay, ensuring quality, okay, they should know what are the reasons for which these assignable causes will occur. Okay, then they have to detect, okay, and with very less possible time they have to remove these assignable causes so that they can avoid manufacturing defective products. Okay, if we are able to detect assignable causes early as possible, and if we are able to remove that, okay, we are reducing production of defectives to that much extent. Okay, assignable causes, also known as special causes of variation, arises from three sources. Okay, usually it is because of, it may be because of men, material, and machine. Okay, so assignable causes because of three M's: men, material, and machine. So improperly adjusted or controlled machines. If the machines are not properly maintained, okay, or if the settings in the machines are incorrect, okay, then that will lead to variation. Okay, that is one source of variation. Another source is operator error. Okay, because of various reasons, because of fatigue, because of lack of interest, because of poor knowledge regarding how to operate a machine. Okay, even operator may commit error. Okay, because of that also there will be variation in the quality of the product. Okay, so that is another reason. One more reason is defective raw material. If the raw material itself is defective, okay, so you cannot get the good product. Okay, so these are the three reasons. So here we are worried about assignable causes, so we cannot eliminate chance causes. We accept that, so there are chance causes and it is not in our hand. Okay, so but assignable causes, so quality engineers need to work on eliminating these assignable causes. A process that is operating in the presence of assignable causes is said to be an out of control process. Okay, so when we are going to say that a process is out of control means if there are assignable causes, we say the process is out of control. Suppose if the process is out of control, so the output also will be poor. We may end up with getting more number of defective components if the process is out of control. Okay, if the process is in statistical control, there is more possibility that we may be end up with getting most of the products as having good quality, or most of the products will be acceptable if the process is in statistical control. If the process is out of control, we are going to get more number of defective products, okay, or defective components. So that's why we need to eliminate these assignable causes. So this is an example, so representing variation, okay, because of assignable causes and chance causes. Okay, so there is a normal distribution curve. There is mean, that is, this is the target. Okay, this line represents target, that is mean. This line represents lower specification limit. This line represents upper specification limit. Okay, so you have if you switch on the machine, okay, you have started operating the machine till time t1. Okay, the machine is operating in normal conditions. Okay, till time t1 there are no assignable causes. Because of that reason, if there are chance causes also, so the process will be in control. You are able to get components within the acceptable range of lower specification and upper specification limit. Okay, so that is till t1. You are getting all products, most of the products. Okay, almost 99.999 like that. Okay, you are getting almost all products within the range of within the acceptable range till time t1. Okay, then so you can see, so after time t1, so you have operated machine for example 2 hours. Okay, after 2 hours there may be some problem with the machine. Okay, because of that there may be occurrence of one of the assignable cause. Okay, so because of this, now so you are getting some of the components which are beyond this specification limits. Okay, so you are getting some defectives. So now the process is out of control because of the assignable cause, that may be because of the machine. Okay, in that case, so you are getting some parts or some components which are defective. You cannot accept them because they don't fall in the range of lower specification limit and upper specification limit. Okay, next, so again you have operated machine for 2 hours. Until 2 hours there is no assignable cause. Okay, after 2 hours there is an assignable cause because of the machine. Because of that, the median shifted from this location to this location. Okay, because of the shift in central tendency, that is this median or average. Okay, so some components will be defective. Next, again if you run this machine for 4 hours, okay, after 4 hours there might be an occurrence of one more assignable cause. Okay, it may be because of the machine operator. Okay, so because of the machine operator and because of the error from machine operator and machine, okay, you are seeing the deviation. Okay, so dispersion. If you consider this, okay, there's a difference between this and this. Even though median is at the center, okay, so the deviation is wide, it is large. Okay, because of this larger deviation, you are getting some components out of the specification limits. Okay, and you are not able to get most of the components to target. That is also another problem. Okay, that is given by mu2 less than this mu0. So here you are getting most of the components to target, but here you are getting less components to target comparatively. Okay, and also some components are beyond this lower specification limit and upper specification limit. Okay, next, so if there is presence of one more cause, okay, so that is because of the presence of because of the defective raw material. Okay, then also you can see there is a shift in a median, and also there's a shift and there's a change in the standard deviation. Okay, so the curve will become wider. That means there will be more standard, more deviation. Okay, there will be more deviation, and also there is shift in central tendency. Okay, so from this, what finally what we should understand is, if there are chance causes, okay, which are not in the control of quality engineers, even if there are chance causes, we need not worry. Okay, so we are able to get the components within the acceptable limits. Okay, if there are assignable causes, it may be because of machine, it may be because of operator or man, or it may be because of the raw material. Okay, because of these three reasons, you may be getting defective parts. Okay, so that is assignable cost. So these are within our control. Okay, while procuring raw material, we should ensure that the quality of the raw material is good. That is within our control. Okay, otherwise we should reject and we should put that supplier of that raw material to blacklist, and we should find someone else who is supplying good quality raw materials. Okay, suppose if the operator is not performing his job properly, okay, we have to at least we have to train him or we have to recruit someone else. Okay, and if there is fault in the machine, we should do proper maintenance. All these are within our control. These are the assignable causes which we can avoid. Okay, suppose if we don't pay attention and if we are not able to detect and eliminate these assignable causes, process will go out of control. If it go out of control, we are going to get defective components. Okay, so this is the summary. When the process is in control, most of the products will fall between the lower and upper specification limit. Here you can see from time T0 to T1, okay, process is in control. So that means this is the graph showing produced component, quality characteristic of a particular product. Okay, so all are falling within the range of lower specification limit and upper specification limit. When the process is out of control, a higher proportion of the process lies outside specification limits. So that means you are getting defective components. A major objective of statistical process control is to quickly detect assignable causes of variation. Okay, if you are able to detect assignable causes of variation quickly, to that much extent, you are able to reduce production of defective components. Okay, since you are finding it early, okay, you are reducing production of waste, production of defective components. The control chart is an online process monitoring technique widely used for this purpose. Since you are plotting the acceptable range, okay, so if something comes out of that range, okay, immediately you can identify that there is something which is not going well, which is not going according to requirement, that you can identify with the help of control chart. So online inspection means while production itself, during production itself, you are monitoring, you are inspecting. Okay, so this is also one of such technique. Control charts are also used to estimate the parameters of a production process. So this is another application of control chart. You can decide the parameters. Okay, so if you vary a particular parameter in a particular manner, okay, so what is its effect? That also you can analyze using control charts. Goal of statistical process control is the elimination of variability in the process. That means, so if there is no variability, you are able to get the components to the target. Okay, suppose if you want to manufacture a cylindrical component whose diameter is 18 mm, okay, if there is no variability, you are able to manufacture it to 18 mm itself. You need not go for any tolerance limit. Okay, but that is not possible. Okay, so that is an ideal case. But what we should do is, so we should try hard to get that target. If it is not possible also, it should be in the acceptable range. It may not be possible to completely eliminate variability, but the control chart is an effective tool in reducing variability as much as possible. Okay, suppose instead of getting 18 mm, okay, so if you are able to get it to 17.999 mm, okay, so that is better than getting 17.9 mm. Okay, so like that you should always try to get somewhere near the target. Okay, next, statistical basis of the control chart. Okay, so there are many things that will be covered under this topic. This will give you an idea regarding what is the use of control chart, what are there in the control chart, how to decide on upper specification limit and lower specification limit. Okay, all these things will be covered in this. Okay, this is the basis for plotting control chart and solving problems. Okay, basic principles. The control chart is a graphical display of a quality characteristic that has been measured or computed from a sample versus the sample number or time. Okay, here the quality characteristic in case of physical product may be dimension. Okay, like if you consider the same example of cylindrical component having 18 mm diameter. Okay, so again here quality dimension is the quality characteristic. Okay, if you are able to get that 18 mm as it is without any tolerance limit, that is the target value. Okay, tolerance limit may be plus or minus 0.05. Okay, then you should get it to 17.95 to 18.05. That is the range, 18.05 mm. Within that you have to get. Okay, so like that. In the case of dimension is one of the quality characteristics. Like that, you can choose any other quality characteristic. It may be performance of an IC engine. Okay, that might be a quality characteristic. It may be mileage. Okay, or it may be speed at which. Okay, so you can ride the vehicle. Like that, for every product there is a different quality characteristic. So this is an example of a control chart. So control chart is a plot of quality characteristic. Okay, quality characteristic might be dimension. Okay, center line is the target value or average value. Okay, so which is expected when the process is in control. Okay, for that example which we discussed, 18 mm is the center line. So that is the value, standard value, or that is the target value. Okay, next you may have acceptable limits. Okay, upper limit and lower limit. If the tolerance limit is plus or minus 0.05, then upper control limit will be 18.05 mm, lower control limit will be 17.95 mm. That is the lower control limit. If you are able to produce components, okay, sample number means, so if you are producing 1 lakh units of that cylindrical component having 20 mm diameter and 100 mm length. Okay, you are not going to inspect all 1 lakh units. Okay, what you will do is, so you will pick some samples out of them. Okay, you may be picking 20 samples from a lot of 1 lakh units. Okay, so that is, then you will number them. Okay, sample number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like that you will do numbering. Okay, that is the sample number. Or you can also consider time. Okay, if you are evaluating the performance of an engine with time. Okay, after 30 seconds, after 60 seconds, after 90 seconds, after 120 seconds. Okay, what is the efficiency? Okay, like that you can calculate. Or if the quality characteristic is temperature. Okay, after 30 seconds, what is the temperature? After 60 seconds, what is the temperature? You can plot like that also. Or in case of physical components, if you are evaluating or if you are plotting for components, okay, then it will be sample number. Okay, so your quality characteristic may be dimension, sample number it may be 1 to 20 or 1 to 50 depending on the sample size. Okay, so here control chart consists of center line. So that is the expected value. Okay, when the process is in control, this is the upper control limit and this is the lower control limit. The control charts contain a center line that represents the average value of the quality characteristic corresponding to the in control state. That means when the process is in control, okay, so what should be the expected value that is represented by center line. Upper control limit and the lower control limit are chosen so that if the process is in control, nearly all of the sample points will fall between them. So in this example, you can see all these points are within the range of upper control limit and lower control limit. That means the process is in control. Other than that, there are other considerations to decide whether the process is in control or out of control. That we will discuss later. As long as the points plot within the control limits, like in the control chart, the process is assumed to be in control and no action is necessary. That means there are no assignable causes which you have to eliminate. That action is not necessary if all the points lie within these control limits. A point that plots outside of the control limits is interpreted. Suppose if you get some point Okay, if you get one more point here, like this. Okay, this is out of the upper control limit. And again, if you get one more point here, it is out of the lower control limit. Okay, it may be sample number 1, it may be sample number 21. Okay, next you have to check what is the reason why you are getting this sample out of the control limit or out of the tolerance limit. What is the reason? Like that, you need to evaluate. If you are getting points outside the control limit, you should find the reason why you are getting like that. That plots outside of the control limits is interpreted as evidence that the process is out of control. Okay, what happened? Why you are getting sample 1 to dimension of 17.85 instead of getting above 17.95? Okay, or what is the reason why you are getting more dimension of 18.6? Okay, where the acceptable value is 18.05. Okay, so like that you have to evaluate what are the reasons. Okay, and investigation and corrective action are required to find and eliminate the assignable cause or causes responsible for this behavior. If it is because of machine, you know what to do. If it is because of operator, okay, so there are measures to be taken. If it is because of raw material, so there are measures you can take. Next, even if all the points plot inside the control limits, if they behave in a systematic or non-random manner, then this could be an indication that the process is out of control. Okay, there are few instances where all points will be inside the control limits. Okay, then also, so you may get doubt regarding something is not going well. Okay, by looking at the pattern, okay, of the control chart, by looking at the pattern of the points, okay, after connecting them, if there is a particular pattern in which okay, so there is variation within the acceptable limit. Okay, then you can have that you can suspect there may be possibility of error. Okay, even though you are able to get all the uh, points or all the products within the acceptable range, there may be reasons for which you are getting those points either above mean or below mean. Okay, so in order to find out control limits, okay, you can make use of this equation. Upper control limit, so there will be a mean value. Then, so there will be deviation unit. Okay, so it may be 1 sigma, 2 sigma, 3 sigma, plus or minus 1 sigma, plus or minus 2 sigma, plus or minus 3 sigma. There are deviation units, standard deviation units, that is denoted by L. So sigma is the standard deviation. Okay, W is the quality characteristic. So similarly, you can find out lower control limit also, where W is a sample statistic that measures some quality characteristic of interest. It may be dimension or it may be any other quality characteristic, temperature, or it may be flow width, or it may be flow rate. Okay, so next mu W means the mean of W. It is nothing but it is the measure of central tendency. Next, sigma W is the standard deviation. L is distance of the control limits from the center line expressed in standard deviation units. Okay, while solving problem, you will understand it in a better way. Okay, this is the equation to find out limits. The most important use of control chart is to improve the process. Because of control chart, so we are able to identify whether the process is in control or out of control. If it is out of control, we are able to analyze things and we are able to do inspection. What is the cause or what are the reasons for which we are getting this much deviation? Okay, all these things we can evaluate. For all these things, control chart is the basis or it is the tool. The routine and attentive use of control charts will identify assignable causes. So we are able to identify assignable causes with the help of control chart. These causes can be eliminated. If assignable causes can be eliminated from the process, variability will be reduced and the process will be improved, and even the quality of the components produced because of this will be good. Okay. The control chart will only detect assignable causes. It will detect, but corrective measures need to be taken by engineers, okay, who are looking at these control charts. Management, operator, and engineering action will usually be necessary to eliminate the assignable causes. Okay, so sometimes decision must be taken at management level. Sometimes decision can be taken at operator level. Okay, engineering action means it may be maintenance of the machine or providing training, okay, or procuring good quality raw material. Okay, so that should be done by people only. Okay, next, process improvement using the control chart. How we are able to improve the process using control chart. Okay, for any variable. Okay, so there are input parameters and there are variables. Output is nothing but that is the variable, input is nothing but that is the parameter. Okay, so there is input and you are going to perform process. Okay, suppose there may be a work part, okay, whose dimension may be diameter 21. Okay, there may be a cylindrical work part. Initial dimension may be around 21, 22 diameter. Okay, but you want to reduce it to 18 mm. Okay, which process do you employ to reduce dimension of a cylindrical component from 21 to 18? Okay, which process do you use? Okay, suppose if you want to reduce diameter of a cylindrical component from 21 to 18 mm, okay, which process do you perform? Which machining operation? Abdul Rahman, Abdul Rahman, Abhishek DK.
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you want to reduce diameter of a cylindrical component from 21 to 18 mm, okay, which process or which operation do you perform? Yeah, operation perform if you want to reduce diameter of a cylindrical component or cylindrical work part. Hmm? Amok, Amok Shashikumar.
Yes, sir.
Which operation do you perform?
Um,
Hmm? Okay, so these are the basic things you should, I think you are already aware of. Okay, you prepared components or models using machines, lathe,
Turning operation, sir.
turning operation. Okay. So if it is a cylindrical component, you have to perform turning operation. Okay. So now consider, so you have an input work part which is having 21 mm diameter. Okay, that is the input raw material. You are performing turning operation. That is the machining process. Output is expected output is you should be able to remove additional 3 mm. Okay, so now output should be work part which is having 18 mm diameter throughout its length. If the length is 100 mm, okay, so throughout the 100 mm length, the diameter should be same. That should be 18 mm. Okay, now you are going to measure it. Okay, now for measurement, how will you measure the dimension of this work part? Which instrument do you use for measurement? ಮಿಷಿನ್ ಶಾಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಿರಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಯಾವ್ದು ಮೆಜರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಡಿವೈಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ? You perform turning operation. Now you should ensure that your machine to
vernier scale.
Vernier. Okay, now you will take the vernier and you will measure. Okay, if it is 18, no problem. Okay, instead of getting 18 mm, suppose if the tolerance limit is plus or minus 0.05 mm, then if the measured value is between 17.95 mm and 18.05 mm, then also no problem. Suppose if the measured value is 18.10 mm, okay, so what will you do? If the measured value is 18.10 mm, what you can do is, so once again you can go for removing that 0.1 mm material. Okay, so that is the detect assignable cause. Okay, instead of getting 18 or within the range of 17.95 to 18.05 mm, if it is 18.1 mm, 18.10 mm, then so you will find detect the assignable cause. It may be because of the operator, it may be because of you. Okay, then you will identify the root cause of problem. That means you have removed less material. You will perform one more pass and you will remove 0.1 mm. Okay, and again you will verify if it is 18. Okay, suppose if it is not because of you, if it is because of the machine, okay, because of depth of cut, okay, now you need to give less. If it has removed more material, okay, you have to change the depth of cut. Okay, that may be because of the adjustments in the machine. Okay, then if the given work raw material, okay, so if you instead of getting 21 mm, okay, initially itself if you are getting 17 mm and if you are expecting to get 18 mm work part, it is not possible. That means defective lies with the material itself. Okay, so that is the procedure of detecting assignable cause, whether it is because of operator, whether it is because of machine, whether it is because of material, that you have to identify. That is detect assignable cause. Next, identify root cause of the problem. So that you can do. Next, implement corrective action, then verify. Okay, like this you can improve the process. Okay, you can learn from your own mistakes and you can go on improving the process. For this implementing this corrective action, okay, so there is a technique or there is a tool, out of control action plan. So that is used, that is a flow chart that will be used to implement corrective action, that we will discuss later. A very important part of the corrective action process. So that means here after detecting assignable cause, we will find the reason, then we have to implement. For implementing this corrective action, there's a tool called OCAP, that is out of control action plan. A very important part of the corrective action process associated with control chart usage is the out of control action plan. It is nothing but it is a flow chart, okay, where we are going to evaluate in detail, okay, each and every step where we are committing mistake. Okay, so how we can overcome that. An out of control action plan is a flow chart or it is a text-based description of the sequence of activities point by point that must take place following the occurrence of an activating event. These are usually out of control signals from the control chart. Activating events means so they are out of control signals. Okay. The OCAP, out of control action plan, consists of checkpoints, which are potential assignable causes, and terminators, which are actions taken to resolve the out of control condition, preferably by eliminating the assignable causes. Okay, this out of control action plan includes two very important things. One is finding assignable causes, okay, then eliminating them. So finding these assignable causes is called as checkpoint. With the help of this checkpoint, we are able to identify assignable causes. Then with the help of actions, we are able to terminate these assignable causes. We are able to eliminate or remove these assignable causes. It is very important that the out of control action plan specify as complete a set as possible of checkpoints and terminator. That means this OCAP should include all possible reasons for error. Okay, all possible reasons for deviation, that is assignable causes, nothing but checkpoints, and how this can be eliminated. That is action plan or terminators. Okay, and that these be arranged in an order that facilitates process diagnostic activity. That means for this assignable cause, okay, so this is how we can eliminate it. This is the checkpoint, this is the terminator. Like that, it will be arranged in a proper manner. Okay, if it is because of the operator, okay, action plan may be training, action plan may be punishing, action plan may be removing. Okay, so remove is from the job is doing. Okay, so like that you can find some more terminators for other reason or other causes of variation. Okay, and out of control action plan is a living document. That means so you can update it. Okay, the living document means you can update if you get new information, okay, or new reasons for deviation, you can update it. If you get new way of eliminating a particular assignable cause, you can update that in the document. So this out of control action plan is a living document that will be modified over time as more knowledge and understanding of the process is gained. Control charts without an out of control action plan are not likely to be useful as a process improvement tool, because using control chart you are able to identify that so there are assignable causes. Okay, if you don't take corrective action, you cannot improve the process. Okay, you cannot, if you don't learn from your mistake, you cannot improve yourself. Like that here also, if you are not able to make use of the output of control chart, okay, so then it doesn't result in process improvement. Okay, if you want to improve process, you should prepare this out of control action plan, and that should be implemented. This is an example of out of control action plan for hard bake process. Okay, this is a process used in plating. Okay, so in the fabrication of electronic components. Okay, so this will be used. Okay, here out of control signal on X bar or R chart for flow width. Okay, so here you are evaluating quality characteristic is flow width. Okay, so you want a particular flow width for this etching process. Okay, this is a plating operation usually performed on circuit boards. Okay, so you are considering flow width of the material. Okay, so which is used for plating, okay, or etching process. So next you are evaluating step by step if data entered correctly. Okay, so if data regarding flow width, if the values are correct or not. If the data entered is incorrect, then so you have to edit the data and you should get the correct value. Okay, if the data entered is correct, if the values are correct, then which test failed? Okay, whether it is measure of dispersion or whether it is measure of central tendency. Range means it is a measure of dispersion, average means it is the measure of central tendency. If it is because of measure of deviation or dispersion, then contact process engineering. Okay, whenever there is an assignable cause. Okay, whenever you are getting a signal regarding presence of an assignable cause, you should this should be handled by process engineering team. Okay, it should be addressed by quality engineers. Okay, so that is the meaning of contact process engineering. Okay, so that means that is a team which is going to look into those issues. Okay, next, if it is because of central tendency. Okay, next you should continue with measuring temperature and time setting. Are temperatures and time settings correct? If yes, next there's a step is hot plate in calibration, whether that was calibrated or not. Okay, So like that, there are steps, yes or no. Okay, based on that, you are going to evaluate. Okay, next. So this is an example. Like this, you can write OCAP for a mechanical component also. Okay, so it may be quality characteristic might be a dimension. Okay, so then if there is change in dimension, okay, if you are getting a component which is a defective, that means which is not within the acceptable, if the dimensions are not within the control limits or within the tolerance limits, then what is the reason? Okay, whether machine is in working condition or not. Okay, or the cutting parameters are correct or incorrect. Okay, so yes, no, like that you can say. Okay, whether worker fault or not. Okay, operator. Okay, whether skilled operator or not. If it is not skilled operator, you have to do training. If it is yes, okay, then you should continue with raw material. Whether proper raw material is of good quality or bad. Okay, if it is bad, there is a different measure corrective action you need to take. Okay, if it is good, then again further you should evaluate the reason. Okay, like that you can write OCAP for any quality characteristic. The OCAP for the Ardbeg process is shown in figure in the previous figure. This process has to control of temperature and time. In this process, the mean flow width is monitored with a X bar control chart, and the process variability is monitored with a control chart for the range, that is R chart. So if the R chart exhibits an out of control signal, operating personnel are directed to contact process engineering immediately. If the X bar control chart exhibits an out of control signal, operators are directed to check process settings and calibration and then make adjustments to temperature in an effort to bring the process back into a state of control. If these adjustments are unsuccessful, process engineering personnel are contacted. This is an example. Like that, you can write OCAP for other quality characteristics also, following the same procedure. Okay, next, types of control charts. Okay, there are two types of control charts, and remaining topics are related to these two types of control charts. Control charts for variables and control charts for attributes. Okay, variables control chart. Variable control chart will be plotted for continuous data. Okay, continuous data means if it is a dimension in between, for example, in between 18 to 19 mm, there are infinite number of values. It is a continuously changing value. Okay, you can consider dimension on a continuous scale because in between 18 and 19, so there is 18.1, 18.01, 18.001, like that infinite number of values lie between 18 and 19. So that for this type of values, variable control chart is suitable. Okay, attributes control chart is suitable for discrete data like 1, 2, okay, or yes, no. So these are discrete data. Okay, good, bad, defective or good product. Okay, conforming, non-conforming. Okay, so that is a discrete data. For that, attribute chart is suitable. Okay. Variables control chart. If the quality characteristic can be measured and expressed as a number on some continuous scale of measurement, it is convenient to describe the quality characteristic with a measure of central tendency and measure of variability. Measure of central tendency means, so X bar chart, that is mean, median, mode. So that is the central tendency. X bar chart is used. For measure of variability, so R chart, range chart is used. Control charts for central tendency and variability are collectively called variables control charts. Attributes control charts. In certain cases, we may judge each unit of product as either conforming or non-conforming. Here only whether it's a defective or not. Only two options. You don't have in between value. Okay, either you have to accept or reject. Only two options. Okay, that is attributes control chart. Whereas in case of variable control chart, it is on a continuous scale. You have an infinite number of values. Okay, which are continuously changing, like dimension. Of attribute control chart, so there are only two possibilities, either defective or not defective. Okay, so conforming means, so it is a good one. Non-conforming means defective. In certain cases, we may judge each unit of product as either conforming or non-conforming on the basis of whether or not it possesses certain attributes, or we may count the number of defects appearing on a unit of product. Control charts for such quality characteristics are called attributes control charts. Next, design of the control chart includes selection of the sample size, control limits and frequency of sampling. Okay, another important consideration in control chart usage is the type of variability exhibited by the process. So this is the indication of three different types of variability. Okay, one is stationary and uncorrelated, stationary and autocorrelated, non-stationary. Okay, so stationary means distribution of points with reference to mean. Okay, is stationary, above, below, like that. There's a particular pattern in which the values will vary, and they are distributed above and below almost equally. Okay, almost like symmetrically. So that is stationary. Uncorrelated means, so correlated means if you are able to relate these points, that is correlation. Uncorrelated means that is random. Okay, so stationary autocorrelated means, so distribution is again equally above and below, but autocorrelated means, so you can find some pattern. Okay, so if someone is falling above mean, okay, there's a possibility that next one also will fall above, next also will fall above. So like that, if there is some relation, if you are able to predict something, okay, so by looking at that, that is correlation. That is okay, so that you can observe in this. Next, non-stationary means, so it will vary in a very fluctuating manner. Okay, so that is non-stationary. Stationary behavior. The process data, the meaning of stationary. So here you can understand the meaning of stationary, uncorrelated, autocorrelated and non-stationary by looking at these points. The process data vary around a fixed mean. Okay, this is the mean. Okay, this is the mean. The process data vary around a fixed mean in a stable or predictable manner. Okay, you can see here below and above. This is produced by an in control process, that is when the process is in control, so this type of pattern will be produced. Uncorrelated, again same example, the observations give the appearance of having been drawn at random from a stable population, perhaps a normal distribution. Okay, you can see distribution about mean both sides. Okay, but you cannot relate them. Okay, how you cannot relate one point to another, or you cannot see a particular trend. Okay, so that is uncorrelated. This type of data is referred to by time series analysis as white noise. So uncorrelated data is also considered as white noise. In this type of process, the past values of the data are of no help in predicting any of the future values. That means, suppose if the previous point lies above mean, based on that you cannot predict whether next point will lie below mean or above mean. You are not able to predict this. That is uncorrelated. If you are able to predict the occurrence of one point based on previous or upcoming point, or based on previous point, okay, so that is correlation. If you are not able to predict based on the location of the previous point, that is uncorrelated. No relation exists between points. Okay. autocorrelated data are dependent. That means there is a relation between previous point and the upcoming point. Okay, that is a value above the mean tends to be followed by another value above the mean. Okay, so if you consider this as the mean. Okay, so if there is a value above mean, okay, so again you can see it is going up, then somewhere again it will come down. Okay, so like this again, so there's a trend. There's more probability that if it is moving up, to some extent some point will fall in the same direction. If it is going down, to some extent it is going to go down. Okay, so that is how it will be done. Okay, data are dependent. So autocorrelated means data are dependent. That is a value above the mean tends to be followed by another value above the mean, whereas a value below the mean is usually followed by another such value. This produces a data series that has a tendency to move in moderately long runs. That is, like if it is above, they will to some extent points will lie above only. Then once it starts falling down, okay, remaining points also so follow the trend again above below. Non-stationary process is very unstable. So here you cannot find any particular pattern. Process is very unstable. It drifts without any sense of a stable or fixed mean. Next,